The nurse could barely keep her hands steady when she asked me to take a seat. The room felt too bright, too sterile, as if the cleanliness itself was mocking what was happening. My little boy's sneakers were lying on the linoleum near the stretcher, one of them streaked with dry blood. He was breathing, but the rise and fall of his chest felt unnervingly faint. I called my wife again. "Please come. He's in the ER." There was a brief pause, then a light laugh, casual and careless. "I'm shopping, Daniel. Don't exaggerate." The call ended before I could speak again. Something inside me fractured in a quiet, controlled snap, like a tiny shard of glass breaking under pressure. The nurse was explaining procedures, injuries, forms, police involvement, but her words floated past me. Time became sluggish. Eventually a detective entered, unshaven, tired eyes scanning the room. He murmured something to the nurse and signaled for me to follow. In the hallway outside the next room, a familiar scent hit me. Her perfume, unmistakable. The detective lowered his voice. "She just arrived a little while ago." Through the small window, I saw her things on a chair, her bag, her phone, the same heels she wore when she dismissed my call. "She was found at the same park," he added. For the first time that day, my heartbeat found a steady rhythm. Something in me began to awaken, something cold and painfully clear. They told me my son had been attacked by a stranger. Random, senseless. But randomness doesn't move with purpose. Randomness doesn't choose locations. Something about this felt calculated. I asked what happened to her. The detective hesitated. "Looks like she was hit by a car not long after your call. We recovered her phone." He slid a cracked device toward me in a sealed evidence pouch. The messages told their own story. A name repeated again and again, Mark. Not a family friend. Not a co-worker. Our child's soccer coach. The man who offered rides, who said he wanted to help when my schedule got tight. His messages, "He's at the park again. I'll handle it. Don't worry. It'll seem like an accident." Her replies, "Make sure he's scared enough to stop. He listens when he's afraid." My fingers felt numb. She had sent our son there knowing someone would be waiting. When I looked into her room again, she was awake, talking softly to a nurse, pretending to be confused, pretending not to remember. The detective said they questioned her once she stabilized. But part of me had already slipped far away from who I used to be. When she eventually returned home, bandaged, limping, I greeted her kindly. I hugged her. I told her I was relieved she was alive. She cried, promised she would fix things, held me like she still believed she had control over anything. I watched everything, every expression, every late message she tried to hide. I requested my son's medical details. His injuries didn't line up with a fall. They matched someone forcing him down, someone bigger. I quietly asked the detective for any footage from the park. A week later, a file arrived. I waited until she left for therapy before opening it. There she was on the screen, standing near the swings, chatting with him, Mark. They were smiling. Then my son wandered into view. She bent down, spoke to him, pointed toward the trees. He followed her gesture. Mark followed him. Only one of them came back out. The video froze on her face. She wasn't shocked. She didn't move. She simply watched. I saved everything, screenshots, transcripts, backups. Then I waited for the right moment. When she opened the envelope I eventually gave her, her face drained as she flipped through the evidence. Messages, call logs, surveillance images. "I didn't mean," she stuttered. I cut her off softly. "What was he supposed to do? What did you tell him?" Her tears came fast. "It wasn't supposed to go that far," Mark said. But nothing she said mattered anymore. I stepped back when she tried to touch my arm. I watched the realization crawl across her face, the understanding that she had destroyed the one thing she thought she controlled, the version of herself she showed the world. "The detective has his own set," I said quietly. "I wanted you to see it first." Her breath trembled. "Daniel, please, don't ruin my life." I looked at her the same way she had looked at our son on that video, without warmth, without hesitation. I handed her her car keys. "You should go finish your shopping. You're good at that." She froze and understood. She drove away, to his house, no doubt, The detective followed. 2 hours later came the call. Both arrested. Charges stacking. Conspiracy. Endangerment. Attempted harm to a child. When I saw her at the station, she looked small, fragile in a way I had never seen. "Did you set me up?" she whispered. "No," I said. "You did." She reached for me again, but I kept walking. The house is quiet now. My son sleeps soundly, a healed scar tracing where fear had once lived. Sometimes he asks where she is. I tell him she is learning what truth feels like when it finally reaches someone who has run from it for too long. At night, I sit in the dark, listening to the wind to the same trees near that same park. I don't dream about her. I don't miss her. I don't forgive her. Oddly, part of me almost feels grateful. In trying to break me, she carved something sharper inside me, something colder but clearer. The truth didn't give me freedom. It emptied me, and I've learned to live with the space it left behind. Trust, once shattered, does return. Not in love, not in marriage, not anywhere.